Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was absolutely outstanding. Evangeline Victoria doing magnificent work on the violin out there in the mounting yard. A sensational rendition of the Australian national anthem. These horses are out on the track for the running of the 2025 Bendigo Cup. Let's get to our race caller nice and early. This is your time to shine, Rick McIntosh. We'll get to Rick shortly. We'll get to Nick Noonan now, though.
On up, we're here with Luke. Luke, just quickly on Arapaho, progressing towards Melbourne Cup. Gee, you look well in the yard.
Yeah, he looked fantastic. So we just want to see a good run for him today. He was disappointing in the Metrop. He come out of that with an issue. So we just want to see he's back on track.
Is there any sort of planned tactics today for him?
Just keep him comfortable. He's drawn one. He'll do no work. Just let him switch off midfield or a little bit further forward, and hopefully he can just get a bit of luck straightening. Thank you.
Also catch up with Kieran Maher here. He's got an interesting get-up on here for Bendigo Cup Day. Kieran, you've got a few runners here. Gee, I thought Sadati looked well today.
Yeah, he does. We've just freshened him up from that brutal race where Gilded Water took charge, but he's deep in a prep. We've got a good record doing that, and if he produces his best from a good draw, he's got to be there.
Is there any real tactics with him today?
I don't think he'll lead, but I don't want him too far away. I just want to get him a bit of cover. I think he chases well when he does get that bit of cover.
Outside of him, our interpretation looks another key chance. He's progressing the right way. It seems like he's set to peak today.
Yeah, that's sort of what we aim to do with him. We put the blinkers on similar a couple of years ago, so hopefully we can get a similar result.
Anything else worth noting with the roughies?
Strawberry Rock put the shades on, and Earl is building, but he might want another one.
All right, best of luck with him.
Cheers.
Thanks to Kieran Maher for his thoughts on his team's runners. The loading process about to begin. Let's get to Rick McIntosh for the big one. It's the Bendigo Cup.
Fielders moving in for the Ladbrokes Bendigo Cup of 2025. 2,400 metres. Some hopefuls here trying to get into that big race in Melbourne town on the first Tuesday in November. Here's the local Raging Bull. They'll bring the house down if the bull appears. Elmer Rise goes in. 3.40 quietness, $4. There's late Monday money for God's Window, who goes in for Jai McNeil. The grey Don Diego de Vega comes up. 2 sets of OTIs and 3 Australian thoroughbred bloodstock runners. Mark Twain coming in now with his blue cap to distinguish him from He's a Shocker. Interpretation, who was the champ here 2 years ago. It catapulted him into the Melbourne Cup, where he got a good slice of the money too. I think he ran 5th or something that year. He's got the outside gate. It's one of a gang tackle from Kieran Maher. Interpretation comes in. Wait for the roar. Here we go. The Ladbrokes Bendigo Cup is underway. The gates crash back. And Arapaho, the Sydney Cup winner, was the first to go. Sadati out well with God's Window. Mark Twain working forward. They're followed by Elmer Rise. Don Diego de Vega having a look, and Quietness, the favourite, is going forward 4 deep. It's going to chance the arm. Strawberry Rock next, followed a length and a half further back in the race then to Earl of Tyrone. Wants to get the head up in the air and over race a fair bit. He's got over on his inside Arapaho, a length and a half to Raging Bull, followed by Tara Mansour. Age of Sail. Next was He's a Shocker, and Interpretation took his medicine from the outside gate and dropped out to the rear. Quietness is going to go straight to the top here. The race favourite will lead them into the back. Quietness out by 2 lengths on Elmer Rise. 2 further back to Mark Twain, and 4th on the outside was God's Window. Sadati was 5th over on the rails, and then followed Don Diego de Vega in the same colours with the red cap, the grey next. A length to the Tasmanian Cups King from earlier on in the year, Strawberry Rock, over on the inside of Arapaho, who's got off the fence. They're followed next by Age of Sail, who's deep out around Earl of Tyrone, and the local Raging Bull. He's bullying his way through along the rails. Tara Mansour next, taking off, followed by He's a Shocker, and a length away Interpretation, who's looking to get onto the wide train any moment. Quietness gets to the 1,000-metre mark, going along sweetly in the lead. Leads out by a length for Jamie Mellon. Second, the outside Elmer Rise is going up to look it in the eye. Third over on the inside, enjoying a good trip as Sadati got through underneath of Mark Twain. Then Strawberry Rock, God's Window next, who's about to present. Latching onto its back, Age of Sail around Don Diego de Vega. Tara Mansour takes off deep, the whip starting now, followed by Raging Bull, and then Interpretation trucking in around Arapaho. He's a shocker and 2 lengths away was Earl of Tyrone. A pack field as they round the bend. What a sight, 400 metres to go. Quietness is the leader, trying hard to kick Sadati is endeavouring to get through underneath of Elmer Rise. Then Mark Twain being passed by God's Window. Raging Bull was next, followed by Strawberry Rock. Sadati moved up to Quietness, who's still just in front. Sadati went there though, and Harry's done it. Sadati won by 3/4 to Quietness. Raging Bull, you beauty, bullocked his way through to third, the Bendigonian, I reckon, in front of Don Diego de Vega. An Interpretation, he's ready to run a race in Melbourne. They're followed by Arapaho, Elmer Rise, Age of Sail and Strawberry Rock, and then He's a Shocker, followed by Earl of Tyrone. Mark Twain well back in the race. God's Window pulling up quickly after the line with Tara Mansour. He's done it again, Harry Thomas. He's been the Country Cup's king. He migrated to Melbourne for a crack at Caulfield last year. Back to Bendigo. He's won the Cup with a pearler of a ride on Sadati for Kieran Maher, an Australian thoroughbred bloodstock. Byanadin from Belsu River. Number 4 wins the Cup. He picks off Quietness, who'd made all the running. Jamie Mellon for O'Shea and Charlton from Randwick. And 14, Raging Bull in a fairy tale. He was 81 into 61 for an absolute legend of the Bendigo turf in Arthur Pace, with Patrick Maloney aboard. And 7, Don Diego de Vega has run 4th in front of 3, Interpretation, who you wouldn't hesitate to back in a Melbourne Cup again. On that performance, he was hitting the line with good sections. 4, 6, 14 and 7 are the numbers. 4, 6, 14 and 7. 1 length by 2. 229.20. It wasn't a cracking run Cup by on a good 3 track by the time standard. She gave Quietness every chance. It took a brilliant ride by Harry to pick her off, and the horse, well picked by Nick, was right on the day. It's a length by 2, 4, 6, 14 and 7. And Tim has the winning trainer. He's about to get him. He won this race 2 years ago with Interpretation, who then went to Melbourne and ran fantastic in the Cup, Tim. He gang tackled the race, but he got it right.
Certainly did, Rick, and he's having a celebratory handshake with Austie Coffee, of course, the old man of Harry, who was in the saddle this afternoon, just saying congratulations to a couple of connections. He's a very popular man around these parts, is Kieran Maher. So Sadati. We'll hope to see him in 6 days' time in the Lexus Melbourne Cup. Kieran, congratulations. What are the first emotions after what we've just witnessed out there?
It's fantastic. I've just wrapped the team. They've done a super job with this horse. He sort of lost his way a little bit, and as I said pre-race, we've got a good record with those stayers when you freshen them up. Good distance between runs, and it was a beautiful ride then, and Harry just seems to get it right on those stayers.
The Archer run was great. The Bart Cummings run probably a little bit disappointing with some excuses. We're confident that he could come here and really play a competitive role.
Yeah, the Archer run was very good, and then the next one, it just didn't suit in that race shape at all when the other horse took off. And it's sort of, it can bottom a horse when you're in a race like that, but that's why I've just wrapped with the team. The horse very deep in the preparation. He's ran super. And we'll see where he fits in on Tuesday.
Do you get a lot of pride out of this win, Kieran, because he's a horse that, maybe until this preparation or even now hasn't probably shown what you'd hoped he would in Australia? How much satisfaction does it get to finally get him into winning a big race and potentially contesting another one?
Yeah, like we brought him out and we ran in a Caulfield Cup. It didn't sort of work out first straight off the plane. And it does. It gives me great satisfaction. And the Bendigo Cup, what a cracking day. There's a heap of people here, and we always target it well, and the horses have run well that have run well in this race, like High Emotion, Interpretation. So hopefully this horse another one. We'll just tick him over now, and hopefully he gets his spot.
What about the 3,200 metres for him at Flemington? Does that excite you about what he potentially could do?
Well, he had a beautiful run then. I would be interested to see what Harry thinks, but you don't really know until you go to it, but he's had the right prep for it, and wouldn't be surprised if he got it.
Regardless of who's on board your horse, it's great to win these races, but I imagine it's even more special when you get to link up with a bloke like Harry.
Yeah, well, his old man Osty helped me saddle up the 4 runners, and he's actually taken up the one in the next race. So I thought I might be a bit busy here, but Harry, he's just a super bloke. He's just growing in confidence every year, and he's a big race rider now, and that was simply very easy to watch.
Hopefully we'll see you and Sayadati Sadati on Tuesday.
Hopefully, Sayadati Sadati.
There's Kieran Maher. We'll come over and have a chat to the winning jockey, Harry Coffey, who did give this horse a good push when we spoke to him on racing.com a little bit earlier. Harry, congratulations. How does it feel, mate?
Yeah, good. Always good to win major races, especially on days like this. Spent a lot of time in Bendigo, so I love this race day and I love winning the Bendigo Cup, and I've been fortunate enough to ride some handy horses in it, and this year been able to do it again.
What about the way the race unfolded for you, Harry? Were you always confident that he could play a part at the finish?
Yeah, it actually worked out perfect. It was almost like we just went for a nice gallop, and I sort of produced him with 300 metres to go, and it was like he just had to set out to run down his gallop mate. It was a perfectly run race for him, perfect setup. I landed in a nice position following good riders on nice chances, and got a beautiful rails run, sort of along the back, made up a little bit of ground to get on Jamie's back, and all I needed was an out, and when that came, he produced into it and was too good.
Been an interesting horse since he arrived in Australia for the Caulfield Cup last year. He's obviously taken a little while to furnish into the more finished product. Was Kieran giving you a bit of confidence when he legged you up?
Yeah, he was. I actually rang him before because I didn't know if he'd be here today, and I said, I had my dad with me, and he was going into a tent with some blokes, so he needed a tip. I said, which one's the best in the Bendigo Cup? He said, it's a silly question, you're on it. But yeah, look, Kieran was happy with the horse. That race the other day, it was a high pressure event, but there's been a lot of form come out of it. Today's scenario got a beautiful run, and it brought his best, and hopefully it gives him a lot of confidence, and we can now see him running good races regularly.
We know you're riding One Smooth Operator in the Cup if things eventuate that way for him, but could he be competitive in a race like that, stepping to 2 mile?
Well, I won this race on High Emotion years ago, and we've seen what she was able to do in a Melbourne Cup, and this bloke was probably just as dynamic, if not better today. Different fields, different scenarios, but this race the last few years has produced horses running so well in the Melbourne Cup, and I think sometimes the Bendigo Cup gets forgotten about, but the last few years it's produced the goods, and I can't see why this fella probably can't do that again.
The old man's played a good part too, not only chauffeuring you around the countryside, but helping Kieran strap up the 4 runners.
Yeah, he's doing some liaisoning in the tents with the owners, help Kieran saddled up.
Hope he doesn't charge.
Yeah, well, we might need a job. We don't have many in work, so he might be looking for a bit of pay, but it's good to have him here. I'm sort of pretty busy at home with a new baby, so Dad's been driving me around and helping out, and it does make things easy.
Well done. Go and enjoy it.
Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, you've got to love him, Harry Coffey, and the whole family. Osty would be very proud of what his son is achieving, and this was Jill's a great ride from Harry, like he said. He pinched a bit of ground mid-race, and then all of a sudden, just on the back of the favourite from about the 700-800, and now he's just biding his time.
Yeah, he rode it sensational. He's just become a really good rider, hasn't he, Harry?
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I love him in staying races, and he rode it a treat here. I love the ride from Jamie. I know she misses out here, but it was a really good, positive ride to put that horse on speed. I think it would have been posted otherwise, and then if you go back, I just don't think it would have featured at all. Nothing really made ground. So she doesn't get the big win, but I thought the ride from Jamie Mellon was outstanding.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it was always going to be the tough ask, wasn't it, from out there. She had to do a little bit of work. The winner had the drop on her late. She's beaten the rest easily. And what a huge sheer raging bull at the 60s for the home crowd as well. Let's head over to Murray Bridge after the Bendigo Cup.
Shall Have Music finished alongside St. Boom and were quite similar runs. She showed good form last preparation as well, so she's definitely good enough to win this, and I think she only has to hold that race.